Hello, everyone. I will just jump straight to the topic. This is my first time as a speaker, so I will try to learn it on the way, how to do this. Maybe for the next time, they will invite me again. And this is my first time. You may have a reasonable question like, who are you? And I'm Denis, and I spent all my life as a designer. So at the beginning, and I don't know how many years ago, the only thing that I understand that I don't want to work with the documents and with the Excel. But today I found out that I'm still working with the documents and Excel. But in between, as it was said earlier, I had the opportunity to work with some CRM systems, with some mobile, web, and I end up with the product, which I really like to work with. Besides the design, I'm as a human. So I used to play hockey for the last couple of years, playing chess. Not good at all, but still trying. Taking some pictures, buying some books, which I didn't read, but everybody do this, I think. Today I want to talk about the art and science of data visualization selection. But I want to use this topic as a representation of one more thing that I find out with some experience, that you're kind of afraid with the years with some simple solution, because as much as you gain some experience, you don't trust the simplest thing, because you're a designer, you want to make something big, you want to make something complicated. But it's not only needed every time. I work with the product, and my daily work design looks something like this. So it has some filters, it has some tables, it has some other boring thing as a management system, but it definitely doesn't have some colors, animation, photos, so it's not about the landings. And when you work on this kind of product, you can realize that sometimes you know what to do, and sometimes you don't. And when it turns out the UI part, you know where to find the solution, but when we're talking about the UX part, it's a little bit complicated to find something, because you don't know what to find, where to find, and you decided to go to the Google to start to search something. You don't know what exactly, and in a few seconds you find out in this kind of situation that you know a lot, but you don't know nothing at the same time. And I don't really remember who said that, but basically if you can define the problem, it's already solved on 70% or less or more, but definitely you know the direction. And let's start with the basic thing, what the data is. And for example, we have one column of some words. It means nothing, it's just the series. At the same time, we have the second column with some numbers, which means population this time. It's not the data yet, it's just the values. And once we combine them in the table, it already means something, because you can do something with that. You can make a chart, you can make analysis, you can compare it, you can do whatever you want. As we know, the most popular format for the data is the table. And it's been a table 200 years ago. It's been a table 600 years ago. And it didn't change anything through the 600 years. So there's zero revolution, except one moment that now it's digital. And why do we need the visualization in general? So let's imagine your day, if the whole interfaces becomes just as a table. And you just wake up in the morning, you need to get to the airport, and you want to check the weather. You kind of understand everything, but at the same time nothing again. Then you find out yourself in this kind of situation that you're wet. Then you find the bus stop to find your bus. That's actually the real picture. It's still working this way. And then you find yourself in the middle of nowhere, trying to find the way to the airport again. Finally, you get the airport direction, and you just understand that your flight is on the way and you are still somewhere in the middle of somewhere. And if we sum up all of these things, that what the visualization help us is to, first of all, build better communication and make better decisions. And the better decisions in terms of the business, it saves the money, makes the money, and it decreases the amount of the mistake that you can make. And I made a quick research how the products look in nowadays, and they pretty much looks the same as our that we are working together with the team. And there's a few reasons why it happens, because it's still profitable for business solution. It's so easy to handle everything. It's familiar mechanic for the users who use them, and you can present big amount of data at the same moment, and everyone who works with this can find something to work. But at the same time, it's difficult to complete the simple task, because profitable for business, it doesn't mean that it works properly. It means that it's only profitable. That you have big amount of data, it doesn't mean that it's help you to work. It means that you have high cognitive load on your eyes and memory and everything, which doesn't help you in any case. And as I said, the product contains a lot of different things, but the most thing that we are talking today is the tables and the chart. And there's a one main difference between those two in terms of data, because with the tables, people work with the data, and with the charts, the people analyze the data. And I took some screenshots from the Notion with some data. As I said before, do not be afraid of the simple solution. And Notion did the easiest thing ever. So they just bring some visual elements to the design, and now you don't need to read every row anywhere. You can just point your attention to the specific item that you are interested in. At the same time, you have different types of the users in the interfaces, and you need to maybe not to cover all of the cases, but sometimes cover the biggest of them. And the different view will help you also with this thing. And the other thing is the charts, and there's 1,000 of them at the same time. But the good thing that those four, they cover the most of the cases. And just one more thing, that you need to be afraid of the pie chart in some cases, because it can turn out to this situation that it has so many things inside, and for you it's really hard to understand what's going on. And it's present the information, but it doesn't give you some clue about this information. And some people recommend to use the charts on the right, which is represent exactly what you need to solve the problems. And how we did it? In our case, so as I said, I work on the product which contains some chart tables, and it looks something like this. And first of all, we wanted to make it a little bit more beautiful, at least. But at the same time, we still remember that we need to make it stronger at the same time. And we started from the scratch, because we know the thing that we want to achieve, but we didn't know where to start about this. So the simplest thing, again, is just to ask the users what they are solving there. And we have the first thing is how the user work with the product, and how do business make the money with the product, because we need to somehow build the bridge between those two to complement all of them. And we found out the thing that the product has a lack of the basic functions, because it was the simplest solution that it was only table and there was nothing inside. And the user just export everything from this table, upload it to the Excel, do their job, and then bring it back again, which is really strange, because the people paid a lot of money for the product, but do the whole job outside of it. And at the same time, we found some things that will be useful for the user. In our case, we just prioritized them and started from the easiest one. And at the beginning, if we start with the table, our picture was looking pretty much like this. So the user was something in between product and Excel. But we need to find the direction to make it more in this way. So we took the basic functions from the Excel and just bring them to our product. At least it was the basic functions such as edit table in the data, edit data in the table, and some filters, some visualization, the smallest, and it helps a lot. Because there was just an example how our table looks at the beginning. There was also thousands of other columns, and it doesn't give you anything, what to do with this, how to analyze it, how to make decisions. But once you add the simplest icon just to show you directions to pay attention for, you can easily analyze that some of them has a high priority, some of them has a low priority, and where's the revenue going up or going down. And at the same time, we understand that we have different groups of people who work with our product, and not all of them needs to have a table, because some of them only need some information related to the end date and the start date. Some of them need to know only the priority. So we decided, as I said, to bring just the simple solution to the product and build the different type of the views, which helps a lot to solve the user's problem. But again, we have stakeholders who is not the people who work with the product itself. They are more about to analyze it, to make decisions, to make everything. And again, what can be the simplest solution for this type of case? So we decided that it can be dashboard. So it's again no surprise. It's a very simple solution because it covers both type of the users. For the first type who work with the data, they can save different type of the filters. They can get the easy access for all needed information. And for the second part of the people, becomes the main point to overview the statistic, because as I said earlier, the data nowadays it's digital, and you can visualize it in some way. And since we have the whole table with a different amount of data, you can bring all needed information in any type of view. And there's a quick summary of everything, because everything is data, as I said, and even the bus schedule, which becomes as a Yagda Yada application, for example, it helps a lot because you don't need to all the time watch the table at the bus stop. And it's not the rocket science because it looks simple, and you don't need to be afraid of the simple thing, because sometimes even if they're simple, they can solve the big problems. And but at the same time, they took a lot of time and effort, because they're not going alone with the tables, with everything, because you work the whole product as a complex. And yeah, so don't be afraid of the simple thinking in the visualization. And I think that's it. No, not that's it. I just want to avoid this phrase, but because everyone starts to use it, and it's really true because the form follows the function. But in case of the product, it not only follows the function, but it also follows the context where this function is. Because we have different types of the user, we have different types of the stakeholders, and the tables in our case, it helps everywhere, but it doesn't solve anything at the same time. So if you want to make something in your product, so you need to consider the function, what type of user you need to solve, and the context. Who is this user, and what the user is trying to solve. And now that's it.